wanted by the Empire.
It's dangerous joining us on this journey.
But now I'm more certain of it. I believe there's an alternate dimension in my homeland.
Your home?
Your home?
Where?
No, not quite. That's what we want Silas to believe. To get rid of unwanted visitors.
Solaria did say there is an alternate dimension in the Snowclades.
When you mentioned the alternate dimension in Mistborn, I suddenly realized the truth behind the downfall of Frosthold.
It must have been the power of the alternate dimension.
So, will you go to Frosthold?
Of course.
Then please make sure you are well prepared.
I will. It's not over yet. Celine, how is Louisa doing?
Nothing's changed. She's still in a deep sleep. And more are falling into a similar slumber.
I hope the Emperor keeps his word, and that the Holy Order protect everyone.
When did you start counting on that time? Sorry, that shouldn't be that. You're in an impossible situation. Regardless of the Holy Order, we will continue to protect this place. If you, Gethia, and Zahn need anything, everyone will be
I missed it. Someone told me that when the time comes...
Sentimental teaser.
I'd say it has made me more logical. And my logic tells me we'll definitely overcome the vortex.
He had a stroke.
Zucker just exposed the changes to weird industry behavior in Atlanta, and it's way deeper than people know. In and out, thugs straight up hinted that the so-called pictures under Birdman weren't just rumors. They were real. Now, if you've been around hip-hop long enough, you already know Birdman's reputation got called out years ago after that infamous moment with Lil Wayne. But here's the thing, this is more than just one tweet or one viral clip. This is about how Birdman built an entire empire. Silence and even the hardest rappers questioning what was really going on. And now Thug looks like he's done playing that game. So the question now becomes, did Thug finally break the code of silence in Atlanta, or is he just trolling his haters? Either way you put it, the secrets he hinted at tie back to one of the most controversial moments in rap history. Birdman caught on camera kissing Lil Wayne. Now, if we're talking about weird industry behavior, you can't ignore Birdman's name. He's always had one of the most notorious reputations in rap. Folks in New Orleans still give him credit for shaping an entire era, but at the same time, people whisper about the darker side of his game, manipulating others, controlling contracts, even being tied to street empires that went way beyond music. Some say it's exaggerated, others say it's all facts. But either way, Birdman's name has always carried that mix of power, respect, and
This is how my dad transmitted his blood. It changed his life. It may change yours too.
I was 25 pounds with the open hips. My name is Jeff, and in the first 4 weeks, I shed 19 pounds. After about 2 months, I was down 30 pounds. I began to notice changes in the mirror myself.
And so far, I've lost around 25 pounds in those 4 months, and I'm super excited about the results that I've been seeing.
No insurance required. No in-person visits. Free shipments right to your door and prescribed. How much better can you feel in 1 month? Take the free assessment and get started today.
But either way, Birdman's name has always carried that mix of power, respect, and suspicion. And then came the moment that shook his reputation forever. The infamous Wayne kiss scandal. A photo surfaced along with multiple clips of Birdman kissing Lil Wayne on the lips. This wasn't just some behind-the-scenes rumor. This was on camera for the world to see. Easy, even confirmed on live TV.
Dream of the Star Sky too.
And just like that, Birdman's image as a street kingpin collided with people clowning him for something they just couldn't explain. Birdman, of course, tried to shut it down with an explanation. He said Wayne was like his son, especially since Wayne was without a father figure from a young age. To him, The kiss wasn't anything freaky. It was a paternal gesture, the same way he'd kiss his own kids.
You and Wayne had like a kiss thing going on.
I know you got a child, you got a kiss, we probably got a son.
It's been so long since I last breathed such refreshing
He even
cold
said
air.
back then he didn't know if he'd live to see another day. So those moments were like emotions.
So this is where you're from?
But the industry
The
didn't
Snowflake.
take it lightly. To some,
Frosthold.
it looked like Birdman's
We
father's
actually haven't reached Frosthold's border yet.
It was just another layer in the
Any
strange
idea
rituals
where
that
the
people
ultimate
say are
Frosthold might
baked
be?
into hip-hop's elite
No.
circles. Don't forget the
But
fact that
I
Birdman
suspect the king
for years, delaying albums, fighting lawsuits,
You can
playing
get us an audience
politics. Suddenly the kiss felt less
Actually,
like family love.
it should
and
be
more like
pretty
another way of
easy.
showing control.
The king is
And
my
Wayne
father.
eventually cracked wide open in 2015. Wayne
Save
said,
your astonishment. I'm still me, and no, we're not going to delve into my past
but
right
even
now.
after they reconciled,
Now that I
when
think
you could
about
see
it,
the images,
you do have a
and
real
Birdman
nerve.
couldn't shake the suspect.
Are you
label.
being
sarcastic? And here's where it gets interesting.
I wouldn't
Because
dare.
Birdman's strange behavior didn't stop.
We must
Once
hurry.
he
Once we
started
cross
bringing
the
out the
mountain,
wave of
we
rappers
will
like Young
reach
Thug,
Frosthold.
the stories only got weirder.
At
And
once.
the so-called rituals went
Careful,
from
Fraser.
to straight up influence. When Young Thug first came out under Gucci Mane, he had that raw street energy. People knew him for his unique flow, his crazy delivery, but not for anything too out of the
Frosthold's
ordinary.
borders are really big.
That
2
changed
decades ago, the
Birdman
Empire
stepped
and
in
Frosthold
around
were
2014. Birdman launched his Rich Gang
Yeah,
project
the
with
10
Young
years
Thug
ago.
and Rich Homie. And just like that, Thug wasn't just some bootleg rapper.
War
He was
lasted
Birdman's next golden
and the
child.
border
Birdman saw Thug as the
abandoned.
future of
And
music,
then
even calling him
Frosthold
a
was
replacement for
completely
Lil
sealed
Wayne.
off,
The executive produced
and the
his
border was
projects,
permanently
pulled him
sealed.
into Rich Gang,
I remember
and
when
started
all
putting him front and center as
Blizzard.
they say,
Stonewall.
this is the
Father built
and the
along
industry
the
knows.
border.
Just
Not
like
even
Wayne,
airships
Thug
reached
started
it.
calling Birdman dead.
I didn't
How
think
did
you
say
and
words
you
like
were
"Hey,
both
who's that?"
Yeah.
For some years.
Now I
Even
think
Rich
of it,
Homie
it must
and
have been
Big
the
News.
power
Thug
element
showed
of
up in
dimensions.
dresses, not once, but multiple times. And while he told fans it was all about fashion, critics tied it back to those same Birdman ritual whispers that had been floating around since the Wayne Kiss scandal. But that wasn't the only spark. Thug dropped his Barter 6 mixtape, a direct play on Wayne's legendary Carter series. That move felt like Birdman was fueling a rivalry between his two sons.
Feeling
To
tired,
some,
Kaiser?
it was loyalty to him. To others, it was Birdman playing chess with artists like pawns in his game. And remember, Birdman has
So
always
this
said
is
Thug
Frosthold.
reminded him of himself.
It's
He claimed he just
freezing.
wanted to handle Thug's business
Rihanna,
properly, make sure his
you
publishing
followed
was
us again.
But the way it played
I just
out,
want you to know
eventually
that I
started
help.
looking more like the same
I
father-son
better record
script
your
with
movements.
Wayne, only this time with more controversy and more suspicion. Fast
Wanna
forward,
record your
despite
story?
lawsuits, feuds, and even whispers about touring
What do you wanna try?
Thug kept pledging loyalty to Birdman. He called him family, defended him publicly, and tied himself even deeper to
Remember,
the cash money.
let's get a record of this.
Doubled down, calling Thug the future, and even teasing projects like Rich Gang 2. But here's the question:
Quite
was
the
this
epic
loyalty
adventure
genuine?
indeed.
Was Thug caught in the same web Wayne had been trapped in years earlier? Because right when people thought Birdman's mentorship couldn't get any stranger, the conversation about rituals started to explode. Weird industry rituals and symbolism. So let's talk about the part everybody always whispers about, the rituals. Once Thug got tied up with Birdman, people started pointing out some strange moves and some even stranger imagery. Take his music. Fans still bring up that collab with Lil Uzi Vert on Up. That video wasn't just artsy. It was loaded with straight-up occult symbolism. We're talking Masonic Lodge settings, black and white duality floors, owls staring dead into the camera, and demonic figures right out of a nightmare. Many saw this as Thug showing he's on the same side, the occult agendas that hip-hop's elite have been accused of pushing for years. And then you've got the darker rumors, stuff that actually hit the court. During the YSLRICO case, prosecutors tried to argue that one of Thug's own associates was involved in a goat sacrifice ritual tied to gang activity. Thug's lawyers immediately fought to have that thrown out, saying it would bias the jury. But once that detail hit the headlines, the speculation went crazy.
A bizarre request from Young Thug's defense amidst the rapper's ongoing jury selection, petitioning the court to exclude evidence of a ritualistic sacrifice in his RICO trial.
Suddenly, people weren't just talking about fashion choices or weird videos. They were asking if Thug and his circle were literally dabbling in ritualistic stuff. But it doesn't stop there. Look at the imagery Thug has leaned on over the years. Upside-down crosses, bleeding eyes, puppetry, and satanic-style concepts splashed all over his visuals. He played.
Never sue the other driver after a car accident. There's There's a better way to get paid a way bigger check without having to go to court or pay expensive upfront legal fees.
Across this
Listen,
mountain,
if
you'll
you
see
leave
the
a
storm
car
zone.
accident
I know a
here,
good route
even
to
as
be
a
able to.
passenger, you could be owed a significant
How about a race, Kaiser?
While most victims are
What
struggling
kind
with
of race?
insurance companies and
You
lawyers,
take the
others are receiving
all
6
across
and
the
7-figure
mountain.
payouts without
We'll
ever
clear
stepping
any
foot.
dogs on the way.
Panic-style concepts
First.
left all over his visuals.
Sounds
He
fun.
labeled religion
I'm
in
in.
a way that feels less like rebellion and
luck.
more like provocation. Was he signaling
Same to you.
loyalty to the same ritual culture Birdman had been accused of grooming Wayne and others into? Now, this is where Miss T enters the picture, because she didn't just accuse Birdman of playing industry games. She claimed he straight up sabotaged her career and sold her catalog. And if Birdman could do something like that to his own artists, what else would he demand behind I'm the Birdman of never giving her publishing and at the label. That's not just publishing is third parties. He's the first one legacy. That's the level. Besides, she was part of the foundation. So she turned out right. Yes, that was already business in claiming that the majority of Cash Money's roster not this direction. Miss T even claimed it got so real that one former artist approached Birdman while armed, pressing him directly about money. That shows you the level of tension surrounding Birdman's business moves. If artists felt they had no other option but to confront him scrap, that speaks volumes about the resentment building behind closed doors. And when you stack her story next to everything else we've seen, the lawsuits, the rituals, the loyalty tests, it all feeds into the same picture of Birdman. A dude who didn't just run Cash Money, but controlled it so tightly that artists either played along or got pushed out. But Miss T's voice wasn't just about her own situation. It pointed towards something bigger, because if Birdman could allegedly do that to one of his own first ladies, wouldn't that involve the entire scene he was operating in? And that's where Atlanta steps in as the stage for these behaviors to play out on an even bigger scale. Atlanta is more than just a rap. It's the hub that drives the culture forward. We're talking about a music industry that generates close to $1 billion annually, with over 300 professional studios fueling the sound. Trap music was born here, and from there, Atlanta's influence spilled into R&B, Afrobeat, and even alternative styles. Add in the digital hustle, streaming strategies, viral moments on social media, new ways of breaking artists, and you see why Atlanta is the center of global hip-hop culture. But with all that success comes the whispers. People say Atlanta isn't just about innovation, it's also where the industry's weird behavior gets put on display. Everybody in Atlanta taking Mad D. He wasn't just clowning, he was pointing straight at the city's reputation. It's the same thing we've seen with Birdman. On one hand, Atlanta is the future of music. On the other, it's where the accusations of rituals, loyalty oaths, and shady business practices always seem to surface. Whether it's artists accused of selling out for success, or execs pushing contracts that lock people down, Atlanta carries both the glory and the controversy. And that's what makes Thug's deleted tweets so heavy. He didn't just accuse Birdman, he cracked open the idea that the entire Atlanta scene, the same city setting global trends, might also be hiding some of the darkest industry secrets. For example, for years, Young Thug clowned other rappers for cooperating with the feds. He laughed at guns, he made jokes about rats, he played the street code like it was gospel. But then that 2-hour interrogation video from 2015 resurfaced, and the internet was gonna feel that. Thug sat down with detectives about the shooting. Kids told us what it was. A YSL affiliate who ended up convicted and sentenced to 20 years. On top of that, Thug told detectives they could keep the line of communication open to street culture. That's not just questionable, that's a direct violation of the code of silence. Of course, Thug tried to defend himself. He claimed the video was misleading, that he was trying to protect Pee-wee, and even Pee-wee later echoed that narrative. But the damage was done. Because when you publicly call someone else a snitch, yet people can pull up footage of you allegedly doing the same thing, that's a credibility killer. To make it worse, leaked jail calls showed Thug, others laughing about Gunna's snitch label with Lil Baby. The hypocrisy made fans and peers question, was Thug really out? Another part is the Melwood interrogation. The situation isn't unique. The whole rap game has been wrestling with the snitching debate for years, especially in Atlanta. From RICO trials to plea deals, the code of silence has become a tightrope every artist has to walk. If you stand tall and keep quiet, you're celebrating freedom, but you risk throwing your life away in prison. If you cooperate, you might save yourself legally, but your career and credibility are facing potential attention of ripping the culture apart, fueling paranoia, and leaving artists questioning who they can even trust. And it's not just YSL.
This should be entertaining.
Even Bill Day, the state, rappers want to they survive So now the stage is set. Young Thug exposed Birdman's weird rituals, hinted at Atlanta's darkest secrets, and got caught in his own storm of snitching allegations. Thug didn't just break the oath of silence. He's being targeted by old footage and twisted narratives. Birdman isn't just a ruthless businessman. He's been running an underground initiation system designed to control artists. Atlanta isn't just a city. It's the hub where these codes and rituals collide, shaping the future of hip-hop's most powerful culture. The system at play is bigger than Thug, bigger than Birdman, bigger than Atlanta itself. And if Thug cracked on the next person might just blow the whole thing wide open.
What's the point in getting super hard down there if you're not even in the mood for that?
Yeah, actually, I guess that does kind of make sense.
That's because the other ED meds, they don't do anything for that.
What, you're saying this one does?
Yeah, man, Rouge, yeah, get it. They brought ED meds into the 21st century. They're the only ED med, by the way, with apomorphine. It works in your brain to boost arousal, so all the goes ready to go.
This does kind of sound like marketing BS.
Bro, I was more skeptical than you are now, but the first time
Look out!
50 minutes later, I felt like I was 25.
Watch this! Taste this!
You're right. And you can grab the free resource. All you have to do is claim yours right now before they're gone.
What's going on, guys? This is Rob, and Al Ewing is giving us our first look at the Gold Lantern in DC Comics.
Hello.
That's all right. I'm going to buy. I got a 2-0. I want to see you else up to it.
Okay. Oh, this is quite intriguing.
Zahn is not here yet. Looks like we won.
In the Absolute Universe. And here's the crazy thing. This story is going to do more to unite the Absolute Universe, connecting all these different dots than any story before. So Superman, Batman, Martian Manhunter, it's all getting pulled together. So what this does is this picks up with issue number 5.
Finally,
Specifically,
nice
it
to
goes
meet you.
back to when Sojourner Verlaine first became the Green Lantern from touching Abbott's sword. And when that happened, Hal Jordan here, who of course is a little more panicky than we're traditionally used to,
Yes. Can't you tell by the
has a gun in his possession.
Not
He
really.
immediately draws it on Abbott's sword. And Abbott's sword says she has power without understanding. She is an anomaly. And Hal asks the question, right, what does that mean?
Hot take, the reason why so many white people are mad at Drewski is because he got a smoking on. There is no such thing as whiteface. All he did was cosplay as a NASCAR enthusiast. Because to commit whiteface, you would actually have to do something offensive. The reason why blackface is offensive is because it's never an accurate depiction of black people. It is nothing but disparaging, negative, racist actions that white people do. On top of offensive paint, what black person do you know is completely black? Quickly. Drewski just looked like a sunburned, overweight white man cheering, hooting, and hollering at an NASCAR event. Tell me where you don't see that happening at a NASCAR event. Honestly, that's what I in a minute, if we have to be honest. Because that's exactly what this is. It's art. It's making people talk. It's making people think. It's making people really look at themselves. And for Theo Vaughn to open up his crusty mouth and say he wants to also participate in blackface isn't surprising, but what is surprising is that he knows what a Jerry Crow is. And not only do you know what a Jerry Crow is, you're asking one. What black person do you know is currently wearing a Jerry Curl? Again, quickly. And hey, maybe this is the lesson that white people needed, right? Because for years, decades, centuries, we've been saying, hey, that's racist. And there's always a white person. Actually, it's not racist. You're just misunderstanding. So now, you guys are misunderstanding.
I believe it was so simple.
Here we are. This
Have you ever
is
put
the
your
story.
groceries like this instead of this? How do you feel about the process of shopping?
A misunderstanding.
One of the craziest things about reverse racism is that white people don't even understand how regular racism works. It's like this whole genealogy.
Well, this is just primitive. It has many layers. It gets more sustainable
so we get to highlight the negative characters of black people
and
in
it's
the late
more like a
1800s
bear.
and early 1900s.
As I
So when they
said,
hired
even
people
in
to
a
look
real
like slave painters and lazy plantation workers, and this is just a white person with blackface and big red lips. I don't see how you can think that's the same thing, but this is just a southern NASCAR event.
She's beautiful.
Deadly too. She's warning us. This is very much our territory. Let's follow her. She might be
a fucking word to Robert Downey Jr. for this.
A snow
First
guard.
of all, he was the best part of the movie. And I don't want to speak for all black people when I say this,
Elite
but it's
soldiers.
because he didn't portray us
Look,
as
there's
a
something on the ground next to it.
And goes and portrays himself as a
Oh, it's a control device from Stormwall. Let's head back.
Right? Drewski puts white paint. He goes and portrays himself as a predator. Then we can have a conversation about whiteface, because that would be the lowest in your community, right? I get it though. I see why that's confusing. Why wouldn't this group of people want to be tied to a negative stereotype from their community of the past that doesn't represent them as a whole? I understand that.
Hi guys, welcome to yet another video. It's Nadia here. Thanks for clicking on this video. So, guys, some people are pissed. Like, why people are pissed on the internet? If you go in the comments, especially on these videos, on this media,
What was that thing? It absorbed so much
of
my power.
Not sure, but the barrier's down.
It also looks like the control device can only be used once. How disappointing.
There will be more as we get closer to the city, right? Shall we look?
Of course. This is just the perimeter. Perhaps we'll find other snares to
Let's go. This house and our host, this is great, amazing work. And why a lot of people are not seeing it as an offense, especially when it comes to the black community, is because this black man did not show up as but then when it comes to how people, white people portray blackface is when it's literally disgusting behavior, showing the negative side or stereotype that is put onto black people. And I saw
check this out.
pictures of blackface and then red lips, like there's nobody who is a black person that is just jet black and then red lips, like that's an insult. Really, that's an insult. But then when you look at this black man cosplaying as a white man, literally, he looks like he just went for a tan, and he's just here like to have a good time at this event, having the best time of his life. So the comments that have been really coming across to people saying, oh, now it's okay when black people do it, but when we do it, it's a problem. And I guess this is a way of reverse racism, and I guess this is now time for us to also do this, and be open about it, which is really like ridiculous to me, because I mean, people have been doing it for decades, and it's been negative, especially when it comes to black people. So what do they mean? Like, how is this even offensive? But listen to what people are saying about this whole thing, especially when it comes to my people. Even their own are saying this is nothing to call racism. Yeah, guys, come back, let me know your thoughts on it.
Whiteface is just as bad as blackface? Are you kidding me? You mean the blackface that has a racist history? The blackface that was used to make fun of my ancestors, which y'all beat to a pulp, hung from trees, ate? Cannibalism! Y'all made furniture out of my ancestors. The same place, that blackface? The same blackface that came from the same era and the same people that used my ancestors' hair and teeth and furniture, their living room sets, chairs. Whiteface is equal to that? The whiteface that has no racist history? The whiteface that doesn't even exist? The whiteface that affects no one? It really shouldn't even be offensive. Or the only way it could be offensive is if it's slightly offensive, you're making fun of me. Okay. But it doesn't have a racist past. It's not a system of thinking that will oppress white people. Y'all really have to stop thinking that we are two sides of the same coin, because we are not. In this country, our ancestors were forced to come here and work for free. Like Jim Crow, things like red mining, other things, plenty of other things, food deserts. That's more like to hold our people back. Or at least attempt, because we always prevail, but it makes it much harder. We have to jump through hoops. When you do something like blackface, or anything minstrel show related, that's why it's offensive. That's why it's not equal.
Time to
So last thing you move.
Just either that whole now y'all know what racism is. First of all, there's no such thing as something white names. Just because something is the opposite of something that actually exists does not make it real. Blackface was and has always been a real thing and very much harmful to the black community. Whiteface is real. But it's always funny to me that white folks' response that y'all already been doing. Because folks are literally commenting everywhere, oh, yes, it's time for me to do blackface. Y'all been doing this. You've been doing it. Whether in the Netherlands or Spain, you all have a solid, unwavering history of it. His phenomenal performance as a NASCAR enthusiast. But apparently Bill Vaughn was not a fan of what was going on. He saw him say on the internet. Now, over on X, he had quote tweeted I feel a Jerry curl coming on, and then he posted a picture of the moon, which I assume is like a blackface, and then somebody had posted a picture, like an AI generated picture of a Dominican, and then Theo Vaughn quote tweets it and says, "We outside." You get award-winning YouTube.
Use my power to jump across the bridge.
Run. What about you?
I'll find another spot.
Get more than cable for less than cable. Use the TV. Try it free. Choose device anytime. Guys, you horrible. Just off top, what ninjas do you know walking around with Gary? Like, does racism run that low? Is it that deep to you? Was it that deep? Or did you get so offended that you thought it was really a NASCAR? Like, I'm not understanding where this is coming from. Was Drewski so believable that you might have thought this was one of your uncles? Was the marvelous tattoo like realistic for you? If you're just nobody cares that you walk around with Gary Curl and black hair. Nobody cares if you offend us. And nobody that's in NASCAR don't give a either about whose you get because they was kicking and laughing in the comments. You'll find another struggle before you get your ass whooped. I've heard this so many times going through my right ears. It's like fire people. We have different marginalized from their home with objects.
We're being told this.
I can take it down. Look there! Need a break! Let's get serious. So many. Look there! Punch you out!
Gotta be careful.
You've been all right. No, what's your mind? Turn it down. Watch out.
Let's start cosplaying as different races.
Be careful. What did I miss?
We're
Just toy drives. We took care.
Sunbird and Confederate tattoo. And a mother.
Good thing there were no villages.
Party in the back. In the city. Was a NASCAR race. That man. Only he can do this. Only he can get away with this. Anybody else would be serving 10 to 15. Anybody else would be facing extreme backlash. But that's
Never have too many of these.
This man had emo. This man had. It gets to a point. You good, bud? Drewski just keeps getting more and more out of his mind. More and more out of his mind. And we all just accept it. No repercussions, no consequences. That's Drewski. Just continues to outdo himself.
As you've seen the video, that is what people had to say. And to me, I just looked at this video and I'm just laughing, cracking up, because I don't understand why the hate is coming from people talking about the one to like face, because they've been doing it for a very, very long time. Even today, people are getting cancelled today in 2025 for trying to do blackface, and it's not done in a proper way, you know, just like this Black Man did. They just paint on their faces, and it's just insulting when it comes from them. But I think this deserves like, you know, an award because it really represented them well, you know. Just like it's not just portrayed as a shooter or as, you know, something negative. Yeah, people will come out and be like, oh, black people are being too much, but you can't look at this and be like, this person, like, you gotta be mad, you gotta be
Come
like,
here,
Kaiser.
This is Drogo.
The one we've been searching for. Much to say about this. I just found this video like hilarious because I can't get the fact off my head that this is like makeup. This is literally makeup because this is a freaking black man, you know. But then when you look at this, it's really, if you find this, you cannot tell that it's a black person, and that's what is amazing about it. Because like, it's hilarious that even people are coming out and putting out their own. Hey, there's bigger things to really worry about than to compare the face that because this is nowhere close to racism. There is a comedian's video. If not think about this, like, what do you think about this? Literally, is it funny or is it still racism?
Let's wrap this up Here we go. There's about a bitch.
China's economic downturn has not only hit businesses, but it's also reshaping social relationships. A recent incident in Liaoning reflects how these changes are playing out in daily life. 3 young women went out for a barbecue late at night. Throughout the meal, they kept calling male friends, asking them to join for drinks. Unfortunately, none of the men agreed to the invitation, and no one showed up. When it was midday, the restaurant owners discovered that the 3 women could cover a bill of just over 200 yuan. So what?
I ran the bar myself. They said they had no money.
You're bullying young girls.
Who's bullying you? You drink 5 well, get your fill.
Street friends were held. The restaurant was footage online, which police were immediately. Viewers argued with it, suggesting that they had their jobs to aid it. Based on absolute information, they have taken advantage of the report. Especially in the last year, expectations money, time, and recently checked with potential guard. One striking example is $40,000 woman who tried to take advantage of a blind date. On her first meeting, she ordered nearly 30,000 yuan worth of
That's 42, honey. Brad, you left her. You left her. She got up. Bruh, I did not know the Chinese hoes was doing it like this. That's poor bros trying to come out here and find white, bruh. Y'all better reconsider. This is 6 days. 14 minutes. Crazy. On a blind date. Crazy.
Tried to take advantage of a blind date. On her first meeting,
Time to get serious. We're being targeted. Need a break.
Let's try this.
You can handle that, right? We be fine.
You seem to have no money, but I want to pay. Yesterday, this is about to take it.
Here we go.
Crisis.
Why did you want to date? Yesterday, this man promised to take me to dinner. I didn't see him. He's taking me. I ordered more seafood from her and you packed extra for my friends. I also ordered more king crab to take home for my brother to try. He was still cheerful at the start.
Every little bit helps.
Run it up like that. Yeah, I mean, ain't no fun.
And since then, Frost told us to scale the gates. Those villages were abandoned. Now they're home to snow guards.
They got nerve to come up on whatever. She just like the news reporting, interviewing you, because you whack as fuck.
But after the meal, he said he needed to take a call. I waited 2 hours and he never came back. I called him, but he still didn't answer. And then he blocked me. What kind of person does that? In the end,
Yo, nigga.
but to pay with my credit card.
Shit, bitch. You went on a date with a nigga. You invited your friends. Then you order extra food to give your friends. And goddamn order extra food to take home to your brother. Hell yeah, I'll walk out on your ass soon as you go pay for that bill and I'm gonna block your ass.
Some refer to it as a textbook example of standing up to gold diggers. Another viral video told a similar story. A woman dined at a restaurant but refused to pay, claiming she was an angel and wanted to put the meal on the tab.
I can't even put it on my tab here, can I?
Who do you think you're talking to?
Come here, Kaiser. This is Strogo, the one we've been searching for.
Working now? Oh. Damn, that's the most, that's... down like this.
Son, my dear princess.
Strogo, you're still alive. I'm so relieved.
You've become a king in strange times.
Since you're an angel, why not just give some money to help out? Let an ordinary person use it.
You're on a mission. I need to get materials so she started finding entrance to alternative dimension. Then we can do compensation.
I originally went to put it on the tab, but today I can't. I waited so long, and the dish smells bad. The duck has no salt, and I'm still hungry. What do I do? How are you going to compensate for the loss?
Compensate for the loss?
Take your ass to jail.
It's crawling with monsters.
How's that?
You don't care what might be going on
This angel's had money for the past 2 months.
Kaiser,
All right, stop pretending to be crazy.
meet me there.
Just pay up already.
The restaurant explained that
I
the
fully
angel
trust my princess.
online, viewers
But
joked
I need to see what your imperiality is capable
that she was likely one of the leftover women, a term used to describe
Don't worry,
women usually in their late
trying to
20s or
enjoy.
older who remain unmarried due to various social pressures and expectations. The collapse of the simp economy has exposed deeper issues. Data from China's Ministry of Civil Affairs shows that only 6.1 million couples registered for marriages in 2024, the lowest in 45 years. The number of men choosing never to marry is now 24 times higher than that of women, and many cite the same reason. They no longer want to be taken advantage of. In China's consumer culture, love has increasingly been tied to money. Expensive gifts, luxury bags, and costly dating rituals. For many men,
get a
also
record of
not
this.
the benefits, leading to growing disillusionment with marriage and dating.
Welcome to
One
Having
online
the
post
Piano
put it
Day
this
with
way:
Access.
I was
Don't
led
be
to
a
believe that
stranger.
being good to someone meant I could win their heart, but in reality, I was
Wanna
just
record
waiting for
for
an
me?
illusion. One commenter said,
And-
in the past, men would
Record
chase
it.
women, thinking they had money and hope for the future, so they were willing to be simping dogs. But now, with the economy slowing down, men are starting to do the math. If you treat me well, I'll treat you well. If you
This
treat
is
me
all
badly, I
me.
will keep tolerating it. Marriage markets across the country also reflect this change. Despite women outnumbering men in many events, expectations remain high. Women with modest incomes still demand men with expensive cars and six-figure salaries, along with large dowries. Men simply opt out. Some women who rely on men's sympathy now find themselves in financial distress. How can you call them to pay the prices of marriage in exchange for having personal debts paid off? Now, all this here's the opportunity. From this game, someone can pay off my First come, first served. This is chance. Which one?
We thought, why not? Let's give it a try. With IXL, not only does Charlie get extra math practice and topics and skills he's interested in. So one night, IXL is great for your child, that's right away.
Weekday meal time. You need something fast and delicious, affordable. Hey, the new taco spot is on DoorDash. And it's in budget. Not bad for a Wednesday. Get great deals delivered.
What? That's a push right there. That's nasty.
I'm telling you.
That's nasty. Pay off my team. I got to see how much it is, bro. Pay off my 260,000. 260,000 is 36 bands. And then get a new iPhone. And whatever. Buy me a new car and a new iPhone, bro. You get the box.
Got to keep going.
Look at this over here, bro. It's your only friend. Hold up. That's crazy. This is eye-opening. This is eye-opening, dog. I did not know. I wasn't ready.
If someone can pay off by 260,000
Time to get moving.
Bro. fact that a woman can go ahead and straight face, offer a box, whatever the fuck it is she's offering, in exchange for paying off the first, they don't know that she can like a simple. So she's going to the simp Craigslist to see if there's somebody out there that want to fight. But the fact that we and the fact that she's doing this, she knows there's a market out there for men to potentially fight. Which comes back to the game, bro, because if she can do this,
Come in handy.
Possible. Man, if she felt like she was gonna look as crazy as she actually looks, she wouldn't do no shit like that. But the fact that she can know that there is some simps out there that will play ball. It don't matter how, I slice it nice and just astonished by how these hoes I'm glad to see that they standing up, saying they big towering it up over there, bro. Saying choosing a peace of mind over a piece of ass, bro. That's what's happening, dog. That's what's happening, bro. I know China and America will get back that big equal. The people, bro, they're struggling for real.
They ran dead. Then buy me a new car and a new iPhone 16. I'll go with him. First come, first serve, don't miss his chance. The stark and transactional approach to marriage not only exposes the financial struggles of some women, but also reflects how, after the collapse of the SIP economy, some people are now attempting to turn the tables through marriage. The proposal sparked outrage online, with many comments that are not off in the death trap. A marriage may have been by captivating of them. True, others may buy a minor. Help me out with that and choose one wrong. It's true, Chinese people don't just Chinese people. These days, they're not being trapped. One apologist such as Ventura, as the economy declines, the SIP economy is being growing. Many of them survival anxieties about buying. One different posted, it was a kind of family position. It's anxiety, one of our ways out of bed. It's completely wrong. In the past, society followed a culture where men worked and women stayed home. Men were expected to earn, and women didn't have to be overly strong. The marriage market valued a woman's age, looks, and personality more than her trauma things. However, an economic downturn has brought women's employment issues to the forefront. Not only are these young high-quality workers, but they also face included anxieties, issues, mental pressures, and age-related worries. Experiences of Japan during this economic downturn was as shared detail, but Japan entered an era of stagnant growth, sustained and amplified as facing women and relying on men. Many jobs that hire women may disappear with women starvation, and single mothers and women faced harsh living conditions. Long-term single living even triggered widespread mental health issues. Now many Chinese women are facing similar struggles. At my age, it's really painful about being married. I'm so sick of the perspective of this year. My parents like me, so I'm not even able to sleep. Now, I can't even think about it now. I'm afraid of interacting with them. I'm deceived. I don't know I have a fear of men that we don't feel like people it feels something happening. But it's actually sometimes I just want my husband to be inside. Analysts note that men no longer want to be sleeping dogs, and this shift has caused the collapse of the gold digger economy. The ripple effects are visible in multiple industries. 1. Luxury goods.
The collapse of the gold digger economy, bruh. The collapse of the simp economy. Collapse of the gold digging economy, bruh. We need to have all that. We need to have these streets on the hill, bruh. It's fucking.
According to a report by consulting firm Bain & Company, luxury goods sales in mainland China fell 18 to 20% in 2024. Many women with unstable incomes are now reselling second-hand luxury goods to make ends meet. Over the past decade, China's second-hand luxury market has grown sevenfold, with gold diggers now making up the majority of sellers. 2. Fine dining and ritualistic consumption. Previously, gold diggers loved sleeping in, applying makeup, having afternoon tea, posting pictures from fine dining restaurants, and discussing catching rich men with friends. However, since late 2023, restaurants in major cities like Beijing, Shanghai,
So many. Taste it. Kaiser, it's serious. Stay with me, Kaiser.
But regardless, I'm all here for the destruction of the silver kind of the collapse of the gold thing and that kind of thing. We didn't get this shit popping again, but you know what I'm saying? I think we can put up with this talk.
Bring it up. Taste it. Good. Right here, right now! Not strong enough. Taste it! Hey, right here, now! We be talking about. Show you can make all. All right, get this. On to the next challenge.
Maybe.
Yeah.
For the first time, it feels like there's no company. It sends itself. It's shocking. According to Boozy, it's being framed by the system.
The fact that I was sentenced to third offense marijuana, 10 years? I was sentenced to 10 years. The system been letting me out.
Some say this all ties back to when they used death medication that they bring it back. Which thing that real goes wrong? The streets of Buffalo, just lost one of his really soul. Torrance High Cash, better known to the culture as Boozy Badass, just took a plea that might have him saying goodbye to the game forever.
It's just a plea that I'm getting out.
Real talk, to understand how we got here, we gotta go back to where so Boozy's legal history has been part of several accounts of the justice system, and that criminal record will come back.
That's more like it.
The foundation of all this drama got laid back at 0 April. What should have been just another day in the hood turned into the beginning of the night. It still came strong. On October 22nd, 2008, Boozy was arrested in East Baton Rouge Sheriff's Deputy after authorities from marijuana blocked in his vehicle. Now, any street vehicle could get a caught with weed in a piece. But this was Boozy's third strike with marijuana, and that made all this. Judge Chip Moore initially hit him with a 2-year, but when they found out he was in his house arrest between 3 and 6, the judge doubled that shit to 4 years when he got in 2009.
Now it was a state case, the feds came and picked it up. They had a ruling in the Supreme Court that went in my favor.
And the case got dropped. The case got dropped. The system wasn't really trying to break this young lady.
What a huge move.
Let's try this.
Good. Arena, here we go. Back. Here. Right now. Damn it.
My favorite shirt in the whole lot.
I saw it. Get it away. Hey. Gotcha.
So this is the end.
Serving approximately 5 years of his 8-year sentence. His early release was probably due to good behavior and some legal clues that he had determined, but the experience had changed him forever. The young wild rapper was now a hard vessel. Amplifies the severity of firearm-related charges as federal law prohibits felons from possessing guns. The same script kept playing out in the years after his release. In 2019, Bruce was arrested in Boone, Georgia during a traffic stop after a deputy observed a white Dodge Charger swerving near the side street. The familiar scene played out again. The officer smelled that sticky ick.
Not over here. Stay.
Worry about money after a car accident. It's called the 2025.
Exactly what
I didn't think anyone would be Alpha Snowball. Now I can understand why Sonic was so highly. You fight well.
We have been watched.
That was just a warm-up. If you can't even handle Snowball, there's no point in wasting time on you. Then let's not waste time. Let's get started. How would you like me to treat myself? Come with me.
The level of resources they deployed for this bust was some serious overkill. Multiple units, helicopter surveillance, and coordinated tracking, all focused on a rapid and just in time. Pulled that traffic stop. The results were exactly what the boys were hoping for. The search revealed 2 loaded handguns in the vehicle, 1 Glock and 1 Hellcat, along with Boozy and another catch named Billy Johnson. Finding those pieces set off a whole chain reaction that would dominate the next phase of Boozy's life. At first, the situation looked manageable for Boozy. He faced state charges, including possession of a firearm as a felon and concealed carry of a vehicle.
Kaiser, do you know about the 10-year war? Of course. The war between the Empire and France. Yes. This nameless cenotaph commemorates Frost's soldiers fallen. To prevent war loss and end the Empire's invasion, our king built the storm wall, and the surviving soldiers became the snow gods. Guardians of the Storm. That's right. Our king bestowed upon us power to command the snow. Now it seems that nothing can stop Drax. Stormwall can't.
The state charges were dismissed during a court appearance in San Diego County Superior Court. For a brief moment, it looked like Boozy had dodged another lethal bullet, but was instantly overwhelmed. Another close call, and would somehow managed to navigate successfully. That relief lasted about as long as a week. Moments after the state charges were dismissed, federal agents arrested Boozy outside the San Diego courthouse on a federal charge of being a felon in possession of a firearm based on the same June 6th incident. The ATF brothers have taken over the case, citing federal laws that prohibit individual
Kaiser, this way!
The shock of this development hit different.
Nice work.
Megan Blanco and
Give me all the details. What do you want to try? What's up?
The Justice Department policy about not prosecuting the same cat twice for the same offense. They suggested
Don't be a stranger. Let's get a record of this.
The criminal justice system might have influenced the federal pursuit.
This is all new to me.
And they want us to bring forward.
And
now it's
record it.
And
the emotional toll was written all over his face. Boozy expressed
Heading to the dispersed dimension.
This felt like straight harassment. He even took to social media to apologize to his children. Right? I want to take this time to apologize to my kids. I am sorry and I love you all forever. The thought of intentionally giving federal time while his 9 kids watched from the sidelines was clearly Boozy pleaded not guilty to the federal charges of his initial detainment on June 20th, 2023. The magistrate judge
You can always come back. Anytime. Really, come back.
The conditions let him travel.
Allow me to proclaim myself. I am Trogo, the Chief General of Frost, Commander of the Snow Guards and Zana's mentor. I bear the responsibility of guarding the storm that leads to the royal city. To prove your strength, you must best the Snow Guardian of the last wall of Frostfall. A reasonable challenge. Certain. Then we begin. Easy. Being power never the cold switch is death. Power. I'm a prophecy. Power of wind and snot. Haven't been such a fight for a long while. Witness the essence of the guardian on your clock.
Stay sharp. Time to end.
Hard down there if you're not even in the mood for sex.
Yeah, actually, I guess that does.
Very well.
Very well.
Drug eating.
You have my
I
word.
think
They're trying to
I'll
use one of my interviews to justify that.
And sons.
For something that you were talking about like 10 years ago.
In addition of the drug-related charge of particular crime, it's easy to question why it wasn't the initial process of circus that led to prosecutorial movement. It's time it felt like to let him celebrate his freedom, only to snatch it away with even harsher potential consequences, same designed to make his spirit complete. This was the moment when Uzi Bad realized this fight was getting
Noble indeed. He spent the last of his Vortex energy to shut down the Storm Wall.
regardless of how important decisions and constitutional arguments in the streets called quits. By the summer of 2025, Uzi Badass was a man fighting a war on multiple fronts, not just against the streets that raised him. The relentless repression that burned him down like water and stone.
Where's
Drogo? For damn near 3 years, he'd been battling a case that kept evolving and getting worse every time he thought he found a way to beat it. The emotional and financial costs were becoming too much to bear. And the same cat who once declared he'd never fold was starting to realize that sometimes the realest thing you could do is know when to walk away from the fight and can't win.
I wasn't going to go to trial with it, you know. I wasn't going to go to trial with it from the dump, actually. But I feel like it's the right move for me. You know, I trust in God.
The decision that would change everything didn't come from his high-powered attorneys or his street advisors. It came from the people who loved him most. In conversations that must have been heart-wrenching for everyone involved, Uzi's family helped him see what his pride had been preventing him from acknowledging. That some
mistakes, I'm tired of fighting, talking about family, it was the right decision.
On August 4th, 2025, Uzi announced on the bench that he had accepted a plea deal to professional money. The announcement sent shockwaves through his hip-hop community with massive pain. This was the same dude who had fought his sister tooth and nail for decades, who had even a murder charge against impossible odds, who had proclaimed his innocence and his right to their own. Now he was throwing in the towel. But for those who really knew him, this wasn't surrender, it was strategic survival.
I'm asking for a fucking point. You taking your faith out, you taking your faith out of God. Next door, put faith in a man.
His mother's wisdom couldn't be ignored in this decision.
Stop asking a man. Stop asking people. So, you know, my problem, like, I don't have no bad problem. On August 26, 2025, Lucy formally pleaded guilty to 1 count of being a felon in possession of a firearm. The court will see this heavy promotion of Lucy's fiance supporting what might be one of the French movements of life.
Now, I have to know his Lucy to his fans that Noah waits sentencing. He's the father of 9 kids. His fiance was with him in court today. As is some background on this case.
The way that the is every word he spoke to reporters outside the courthouse.
Accept my guilty plea. I'm ready to go.
Maybe you want to say to your jam.
Let's say a prayer for Messi.
When the media pressed him, David Lewis from the school, his response was simple and showed vulnerability.
Let's say a prayer for Messi. Prayer.
The charge carries a maximum penalty of 15 years in prison. Though federal prosecutors agreed to drop the second final charge and recommend a 2-year prison sentence as part of the plea agreement. The deal also
15 years ago, the Empire was fought in the Icebound Valley.
10-year war?
Yeah. That war produced many wars, including me.
This is heartbreaking. Want to record your story? What's up? Welcome to Crafting the Fiona way with Fiona. That was an easy one. That's it. Don't be a stranger. Woo! I've memorized all the entries. First dimensions we've encountered so far.
16 years behind bars. His defense attorney did not disclose any parts of the plea agreement or any details about it, but the judge made it very clear here today, regardless of what's in that plea agreement, it's the judge who will have the final say.
But for all the legal technicalities of plea negotiations, the human cost of this whole saga can't be measured in years or dollars. Lucy's attorney, Manny Blanco, emphasized the personal toll while expressing cautious optimism about the sentencing outcome. She highlighted Lucy's community involvement and charitable work, telling reporters, "I am optimistic that he wanted nothing more than to accept responsibility." That was right. She what the experience at stake.
I didn't get high from upstairs. I didn't get high from upstairs.
Oh, let's see. Are you done? I'll be honest. Not me for camera. I've never seen a guy on the table. First 22
But thanks to the Japanese.
One rapper caught 10 bodies and another got his up jumped by 40 people. These are rappers who checked their ops. Lil Loaded, a young Texas rapper, was blown up fast with his tracks catching fire online. But everything changed when his brother got caught in some street beef and lost it.
That's robbery.
Say this about Social Boy. Y'all gotta give him a little bit of latitude because he a victim. And it's been raising quite a bit. They was playing tape and then the owner in the house pulled out Social Boy tape. That's why he's always able to call others on being a switch. Birds of a feather flock together.
Quick! I know MySpace and YouTube and branded as a teenager in the hood. And I made it.
This is art. Give you all the details. Heading to the dispersed dimension?
You thought Soulja Boy was only clashing with Marlon Wayans? Wrong. This man ain't just in a comedy beat. He's wrestling with his own closet full of secrets, and it looks like the closet door just busted wide open. What started as a tiny throwaway radio joke has now cracked open.
Did you get what you were looking for?
Scandals. And trust me, the mess is way deeper than anyone expected.
What were your thoughts when 50 Cent blamed the second season ratings dip on gay stuff?
First of all, you know, the pot calling kettle black song.
Soulja Boy, he been careful. He nobody cares. So, Soulja Boy better go to get that check. Yeah, I don't think he had hits him.
So why was Soulja's reaction so wild? Simple. When you're hiding as much as Big Draco allegedly is, even the smallest jab feels like a full-on expose. That's why he ran straight to X and fired off that meltdown post. I can't believe I'm arguing with a dude that dressed up like a white chick. What the F is wrong with me? He thought that was a clapback, but Marlon, being a seasoned comedy vet, flipped it right back at him and started poking holes in Soulja's image. And wow, did that image start unraveling quick? Here's the thing, the industry's been whispering for years about contradictions in Soulja's lifestyle, but now the whispers are turning into full-blown stories.
Remember
This
the
is
police
heartbreaking.
gave on Tasha Kaye's
Wanna
body?
record your story?
He didn't just talk, he came with alleged receipts. William described Soldier's condo down to the layout, the bottles lined up.
What do you want to
He
cut?
even pointed out tattoos on Soldier's body that the public's never seen in photos. That's the type of details you can't just make up, and it left people stunned.
It was moving, it was everything, it was perfect. And he was like, okay, like very like it's like the race play stuff.
That's it. Don't be a stranger.
Really, or it was like crunchy.
I'm telling y'all, man, what you over here? What the wrong with y'all?
Listen to the rest. Anybody can go on OnlyFans and see that. Anybody can go on OF and see that. I got an OF page. What the that don't prove nothing. What the fuck is wrong with y'all, bro?
Hey, keep it, hey, wait, keep it gangster. Are y'all serious right now, or are y'all trolling? Y'all serious?
I'll look in the fire. Enjoy this.
What's the big deal? What the
And this ain't the first time someone wronged his. Vivica Fox threw her own shade years ago while discussing that iconic XXL cover with Soulja Boy and 50 Cent. When she was asked about 50 blaming the ratings flop on gay stuff, Vivica hit back with
Paths and
a
Frostpole were a nightmare of travel.
They have had ships.
During the
During the
10-year
10-year
war,
war,
only the
only the
Empire
Empire
had
had airships,
giving them a
giving them a
critical
critical real-time
First of all, you know, the pot calling the kettle black, and ever since then, people have been connecting dots that Soulja probably wished stayed erased. See, Vivica Fox knew exactly what she was hinting at. This woman has been around Hollywood long enough to see behind every single industry curtain. She doesn't throw shade without a reason. Now pay attention to Soulja's explosive reaction to Marlon's jokes, going from zero to throwing transphobic shots in under a minute. That's textbook protection right there, protecting others for the very insecurities you're running from yourself. But then, this beat flipped into a whole new league. Marlon dropped a country-style diss track, and when I tell you the internet went crazy, I mean crazy.
Soulja is on green and meth. I can smell it on his breath. Yes, he's on that crib. It's grenade.
Soulja Boy is on CAC and meth. I can smell it on his breath. Yes, he's on that. It's CAC. He has lost his mind, right? That track wasn't just floating online, it was everywhere. Group chats, DJ club mixes, and even sneaking onto radio stations like it was a real single. Overnight, Marlon went from cracking jokes to dropping bars, genres, and
Let's take
a look. Catalog, and people were here for every second of it. And just when fans thought things couldn't possibly get any messier, boom!
I'll look in the fire.
And enjoy this.
Right here, right now. I'll show you what I'm made of.
With a verbal kill shot that everyone hung.
Two songs. Now, all are real
I do it.
I need a crackhead for the new skirt. makes
What a warm welcome.
When he actually gets tested. And nothing proves that contradiction louder than the incitement with gunfire, lies, and legal chaos. This wasn't just a house party when it turned into a full-blown crime scene straight out of a TV drama. Soldiers swore masked intruders stormed his home and then
Bring it up.
On to the next guy.
As he claimed to blast back at the so-called attackers. But here's where it gets messy, because the man at the center of it all, a guy named Droop, tells a completely different story. And trust me, Droop's version flips everything upside down. According to Soldier, it was random masked robbers, but Droop says now they weren't intruders, they were his people, part of Soldier's own label. The big problem? They heard one of their tracks blasting at Soldier's album release party, except this time it had Soldier's verse slapped on it, without permission, without credit, and without a percentage of streaming revenue when they signed with him. Instead, after months of writing, producing, and even choreographing for the show, they walked away with $0 and zero recognition. When, according to Droop, the thing turned violent. Soldier allegedly pulled the trigger, hitting him before he could even react. But here's the wildest part. Instead of dying at the scene, Droop managed to stumble into a car and get rushed to the hospital. When he finally woke up, already called the cops. But that's another story. They got Droop slapped with an attempted robbery charge carrying up to 25 years in prison. In the police reports, they only mentioned 6. First, Soldier claimed 5 masked men broke in. Later, it was suddenly 3. Those inconsistencies don't just raise eyebrows. They make people wonder if the robbery was really just a setup to cover Soldier's tracks all along. And get this, the description of the weapons Soldier said were used that night kept changing every time he retold the story. First it was pistols, then it was AKs, then something else entirely. But Droop wasn't going down easy. He brought in powerhouse lawyer Brian Steele, you know, the same guy defending Young Thug, and within weeks, Steele shredded the prosecution's weak case to pieces. With no solid evidence, the whole case collapsed, and Droop only ended up serving about a year total, including the 9 months he'd already been locked up.
But it looks like Frost Household is not entirely ignorant of Vortex energy. The mechanism over there can be powered by Vortex energy. It is, I see.
Detail made it clear something traumatic definitely played out, but his face was actually telling the truth. But here's the thing, it wasn't some isolated situation. Multiple artists who worked with Soldier come forward saying the same thing. He reels them in with promises of money, features, and exposure, then allegedly snatches their work, thus leaves them with nothing. That pattern of exploitation doesn't stop everything Soldier touches. Remember about Eagle's first rapper with a gaming console? It turns out that the no-pay rate, knockoff emulator from overseas, sold at inflated prices. Or how about when about buying a mega mansion that later turned out to be an Airbnb rental? And don't forget that shady crypto stunt at Trump's inauguration, where he basically admitted he only shows up for whoever throws the biggest bag.
There are more mechanisms, perhaps.
So deep. He wasn't just clowning Soldier. He was exposing the whole shaky foundation of man, all by claiming he was the first. This right here is why Soldier picked his wiping school compromised team the second he realized he was He started half apology writing, I apologize for myself, but sometimes I think too far. I love y'all. But by then, too late. The damage was already done. What makes this feud hit different is how it pulled back the curtain on how Hollywood really works. Stay untouchable until someone crosses that line, and he stopped right over that line. See, Marlon wasn't nothing but solid and struggling about supporting Kai's journey. Just this past June, he shared 5 photos with the captain that had people calling him Father of the Year. He wrote, the father of a child, LGBTQ+ community, I show my people. Zero cost what people think. If I lost you, that right there, is the real one. LGBTQ+ community stood tall behind me. This told me the second time, but this guy started trending everywhere.
One more to go.
Soldier. Marlon wasn't done though. He clutched back with precision. He posted, if Soldier Boy is where he can get canceled, luckily he ain't been relatively Jack alone had to enter the house, but then he twisted the knife with, my child is free and still has more children than you. Like now, that's not just shade, that's domination. The fallout was loud. Marlon decided to take on himself from what they colored to white even though the race across decades. Meanwhile, the pirates had created conversations stuck on repeat without nobody coming. The listeners were lining up behind Marlon, one of them fancier than his so-called gay talking show. Even artists once brought tracks with Soldier such as like they didn't even know. That silence was deafening, and it told a whole story about what he understands. The fallout is hitting him in real time. Reading his father's already out. The street was meanwhile, Marlon is stacking wins like it's nothing. Image Awards Hall of Fame.
The Voyage's energy tank in Frost is quite unique, but the Empire is superior, so what exactly is this place?
It looks like a military fortress. Back in the MySpace era, sure, but he just got absolutely cooked by someone who knows exactly how to move in the digital streets of 2025.
Careful, I sense others.
First the slick text, then the shady pictures, then the country diss track that went viral overnight. It wasn't just jokes, it was a whole masterclass in how to flip a beef into momentum, respect, and money. Meanwhile, Soldier's sitting there looking like he studied all the wrong chapters. And here's a cold, hard truth. When your entire image is built on gap, you don't come for a comedy.
We can make use of this.
Whoa! Hollywood
stunning!
And all the industry tea that
such a
people
massive
worked about for
fortress.
years.
Give me all the details. What's up?
Walking away with nothing.
What's up?
NAACP Hall of Fame honors,
How's that? Not bad, right?
Pouring in non-stop.
Remember, you owe to the Let's get a record of this.
It's finally slipped. At this point, it's bigger than a beat. It's a straight-up case study.
This
It's
is
how
all
the
you
industry
need.
can turn on you once the mask slips. See, Soldier thought he could clown Marlon and still control the narrative, but the opposite happened. Hollywood
Stand clear.
it was Peter turning bridges. Years are speaking up about once he got what he needed. That kind of story isn't rare. It's consistent, and now the streets are finally safe. Now, Marlon's rise from this drama just proves how much the game has changed. He didn't need a new movie release or a massive campaign. He weaponized the internet itself. He let Soldier spiral, then hit back piece by piece, turning jokes into virality and virality into respect. By the time that country came from, Marlon wasn't just defending his son, he was rewriting the playbook on how to end the beat in 2025. And the contrast couldn't be less. Marlon's name is being celebrated at award shows, with doors open left and right for future projects. Soldier, let's try innovator of rap, now looks like the rap was
Something's off. Taste it.
Let's start it. One of the Hollywood never sleeps, and the tea never stops spilling.
Get different channel lineups for every TV lover in your household in one place.
Only Channel 2, by the way, was in Buckhead Monday night as the police arrested the rapper Young Thug, whose real name is Jeffrey Williams.
They're like the
territorial border on mystery.
Yeah, we're gonna make sure that we talk about and this was great. Now, the court was split in LA. Now I'm trying to figure out what the cases was.
Young Thug just released his first response track titled Closing Arguments, where in the lyrics he would break down his snitching allegations, revealing the truth. Young Thug would rap the lyrics, got a rat after rat, laying it all over the line that they are true snitches and not him. This would get the attention of Black 100, who would say because Young Thug dropped this track thinking that he's sweet, he's gonna release a 2-hour phone call of Young Thug dissing Drake.
Hey, Wax, do you think it's over for Thug then? Yeah, we're gonna make sure we talk about
This fortress, unique energy ability.
Yes, they built out the need to build this wall.
The Empire
can turn out all the order soldiers.
while their
where the airship flyer between all of them developed in the mind where I was imprisoned.
You're a
In the
victim.
future,
But it's what Young Thug said next in the lyrics, which made many rappers in the industry react. He said, quote, "Can't compare no one to me, bro. You know, there's real rats around this place. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I did what I did. Try my best to help my brother. Got in the situation that he was in, and I got no regrets for a fact." This get the attention of YSL Mondo. YSL Mondo claims Young Thug started all of the snitching in YSL, and that he was the main reason there was a YSL Rico case.
Didn't the Lil Wayne, Chill Bud, and before any of that, before anybody else told him first to tell, baby, you the first one talking to the police. Bitch, that was way before the goddamn, before nothing. So you mean to tell me, but first, you know the reason why Rico started. Now, if you fight about what he running with, you the reason why Rico started. Let's keep it real. Come on, man, let's keep it real. Lady, you the reason why Rico started. However, at the end of the Young Thug song, closing arguments, he would then tag one specific jail call that was linked to because Ghana is the reason there was a YSL case, and that in turn into Rico.
He gave the jurors the agreement that it's a game. He said YSL is a game. And ain't no people in this, right on this trial, for committing crimes.
still take on board.
You don't know nobody on this case. It's a lie. It's a full-blown lie. I know it's murder on this case. They commit crimes in furtherance of the game. Like you commit, and so you can say she's not in. Right? Rico is. Rico. So, get now, get Rico, you really did. You got like something. You ain't no crime. You ain't committed no crime. You ain't committed no crime. Shut up. Every people you know in this thing. You know why they'll tell us you should think you committed crime. It's not about that. You just read up. You read up. This is like everything was so crazy. But you don't put on his very serious. I'm trying to feel right now. I didn't know a rat. Someone else a rat. Not gonna lie. It's by the time I wanted to be live. But the obvious side was not here. Yes, it was reacting from the old
We're being targeted.
It's different. Right now, we spoke for 2 hours. 2 hours. It's me.
Yeah. Where the fuck they be saying?
Why hit everybody twice? Why little baby?
And 6ix9ine would also mention the first interrogation video of Young Thug snitching, but there's a lot more that came out.
That was so weird. They say Roscoe's with him. I don't know. I ain't heard of him. I don't know. Like, blocking the case. I'm saying Roscoe's with him.
This would then lead into YSL Mondo speaking even further on Young Thug's snitching, giving an inside look of somebody in the YSL camp on what they truly believe is going on. You would also mention there is a YSL iMessage group chat. After the Young Thug snitching tapes were leaked online, one by one, every YSL member would end up exiting the group chat.
Rico, come home. Steven, time out. Wait. It's done. Right? He brainwashed people. He still got, we don't even talk about, and they'll hurt with y'all wrong. You got one. They did that third. Okay, you ran. Bro, if you sit down with you and bust out and say these words, if y'all come out and Donald Rand from saying Islam, you mean to tell me this not making a rap by saying, hey, they said Roscoe. And then I need 10 years. And you just got in the spot. And man, you wait, so brainwash is sickness.
There's a better way to get paid a way bigger check without having to go Here's how it works. Within a few clicks, you can find out what your accident actually is just by clicking the link around this video. You answer 4 simple choice questions.
When Young Thug's Red Warrior comes rumbling down, Huey Roscoe would come out of nowhere trying to save him. It would read, Huey Roscoe addresses Young Thug supposedly telling on him in an interrogation video.
I said, man, Jeff, I think it's just the rain, man. Clean it up with your soap. And I said, that's it. That's what you do. That's his name. Sit up in one corner. No, this thing is right here. Oh, rather than so man. With a text piece, prayers, champion sign, champion open your radio. You're not there, really. Trying to get me out. So, when it comes up, when you cut the good now,
secret that he's been hiding. But it would be this moment where things completely changed. It would be announced, Young Thug calls out Lil Durk from behind bars. Knowing what was said by Young Thug in the interrogation room and in different jail calls, is it safe to assume that he may have shared information on Durk's team, OTF, committing crimes?
What's up, play there? You ever play there? Yeah. You need to make a minute. You know, I need to look at sleep. When I'm going to go, when I'm go to bed, I really like what I'm seeing, what like, really, what way, you know, it's more different.
So,
I think my few songs, it's just like,
what a bumpy ride. Give me all the details. Let's get a record of this. Nice. This is all you need.
What a warm
This will get the attention of an OTF member, which OTF Twin reacts to Atlanta rapper Young Thug speaking on Durk in a leaked jail call saying, "That boy on the phone gossiping like a straight girl. I'll never trust a guy that put on makeup and a dress." This wouldn't settle well with Young Thug. He would respond to Twin saying, "All y'all do in OTF just know that I'm the one who sent Ryan Steele that helped him out a late time." But this was very important to Young Thug. Even Thug's sister came out to speak as it was written. Young Thug's sister says people are calling him a snitch. Because he felt to everyone, that's why everybody's going dumb. Around this video, it's not how much you can use about 30-second quiz, you're done. If you miss it, better tricky, or no, request journey, video and see compensation. You might not even know it. After 5 to 6, I think 7 weeks or so, and you click the link to find out. Thousands of injured workers were covered millions of dollars in compensation. How will you coordinate? Turns out, what's the first case was the more Georgia about the job and buddy just tough it. This is when the fans noticed who was leaked.
No, we've been everybody clicks on.
But this is when the fans noticed who was leaking all of these snitching audios. Academics wrote, Gunn has been sitting on these jail phone recordings for a minute. Right now is the right time to drop them to further prove Rallo's point that Young Thug is everything against everyone. Gunn might be a genius, but he plans to get smart. So look at how Rallo is doing it. I don't, they're not going to agree to it. Right? I'm certain
I'm afraid.
in the case, we'll have to look at the
Something's up.
It's not
Not over yet. Here we go. Show you the tornado! Being targeted. Here we go. He's gonna break. So this is the end. What's your path? Good. Let's try this.